issues with being recorded if they're able to turn their video off if they don't want to be seen on the screen. But yeah, a large part of what we do at CDPS is all about sharing best practices. So we do actually record all of our show and tells and publish them on YouTube afterwards, and we'll be able to give you all the links. So you'll be able to share that with other people. So welcome. And Borodar. I'm James Alderman, the delivery lead on the CDPS website improvement project. Our aim is to make the CDPS website easier for everyone to use. We are currently in beta, which is a stage where we've taken our best ideas forward from alpha, and now we get to do some hands-on research with all of our users who some of you are. This show and tell will be interactive, and Josh will give some instructions shortly. But first, we'll do introductions, if that's okay. You know me, so I'm James Alderman, delivery lead at CDPS, and I'll pass over to Poppy, if you can introduce yourself, and then pass it round, Poppy, to the other members of the team, please.
Yeah, thanks, James. Borodar, everyone, good morning. My name's Poppy Evans, and I'm an Associate Delivery Manager at CDPS. I'll pass over to my colleague, Charlotte.
Morning, everyone. I'm Charlotte. I'm a Communications Officer at CDPS, and I'm acting as the Product Manager on this project. Hand over to Oshan.
Good morning, Bob. Yeah, I'm Oshan. I'm a Senior Content Designer at CDPS, and I've been helping to move and change a lot of our content into our new website. I'm going to pass on to Josh.
Hi, Bob. Josh Dewey. I'm the creative designer here at CDPS, and I've been working with the website team on making sure that it's all on brand, making sure that there's a good level of accessibility, and yeah, working with both CDPS obviously, but also with our website developers and designers, Hoffi. I've just seen Carwyn appear, so I will pass on to Carwyn from Hoffi. Introduce yourself.
Hello, sorry, I had Wi-Fi issues. Yeah, just to introduce myself. So my name's Carwyn Jones, and I'm from Hoffi, and we have been working with the CDPS as their digital partners in creating the website for them.
Well, I think I've covered everybody. Ed, do you want to just briefly mention yourself as SRO?
Yeah, Borodar Badwina Dwi. I head up the communications and engagement team, and as James said, I'm the SRO, which is the senior responsible owner of the website project.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's introductions done. So I'm going to hand over to Josh now. So Josh, over to you.
Okay, so Borodar Pawb, this is going to be an interactive session. You're going to help us out with our research here. So you should now see on your screen a set of instructions for joining Menti. So this is the tool we're going to be using to answer some questions. There'll be a set of slides with imagery on it, and we basically want you to answer some questions on that. Most of them are going to be yes, no, maybe questions. Some are a bit more freeform, and you'll have a little bit longer to answer those. We're looking at probably about 30 seconds or so for the yes or no ones, and a little bit longer for the others. We want to try and keep this on time. The information collected is going to be anonymous. You don't need to sign up to anything to get onto this platform. So if you could all go to menti.com, there should be something in the chat for you as well, and enter that code if you do not work for CDPS. For those who do work for CDPS, there is a separate one. They have the exact same questions. You'll be going at the same pace. The main reason we're splitting the two is just to keep that data clean. Both types of member, internal and external, are equally valid, equally important, but we just want to make sure that there isn't too much issue with the data crossover there. So we've just split it into two. What I'm sharing on my screen is the external one, but internal CDPS staff, you guys can follow along, and I believe Poppy is driving the slides on that one, but it will be going at the same pace as this. Please, while you're doing these questions, while we're doing this presentation, if you can, try and focus on not jump over to your email or to your Slack or to your WhatsApp groups, because the slides will move at my pace, and as a result, you may miss questions, and we don't want that data to go missing. Okay, so before we get started on the questions themselves, just a little bit of context. I'm going to switch screen now. So this is a flat prototype of the new homepage. That's what we're going to be focusing on today, is just the homepage, nothing else. So starting at the top, obviously you have our menu area. For those of us who joined the last show and tell, we had discussed what the priority order of this and the naming conventions were. Then you have this area known as the hero. This is where the kind of the fold of the pages. So as you load up the page, this is the first thing you would see. As you scroll down, there's latest courses and latest events and a few listings therein. Below that, help and advice, which links to our resources, toolkits, things like that. Below that, our work. This showcases some of the work that we've been doing at CDPS. Below that are some calls to action to find out more about CDPS and to sign up to contact with us. We've been working very closely with the Welsh Government GEL team, which is the Global Experience Language, I believe, which is some of them I believe are in the call at the moment. That's what we're the framework that we're building from in the first place, to make sure that it's all in keeping with the rest of Welsh Government user experience and using their components and things like that. So with the context set up, back to the show. So hopefully everybody's on Menti now. If you have any issues, please mention in the chat, and one of my colleagues will help you out. So first question. Hopefully you can see a form in Menti now, saying what would you expect to see on our homepage? So what would you expect to see when you land on the actual landing page of CDPS? Please pop your answers in and hit submit. I believe you can submit as many answers as you wish. Images, that's heartening since I'm a designer. Okay. Just going to set a timer for 1 minute.
Are you moving on the internal Menti?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you're seeing shared in Teams at the moment is the external one, which I'm running. For CDPS staff, you should be seeing on your Menti screen, you should be seeing Poppy's version, which is the internal one.
I've just noticed in the chart some of the internal focus saying it's not moving.
Have you hit present as opposed to just tabbing through slides? That might be it.
Seeing a present option on my end.
Okay, 5 seconds left, folks. Okay, brilliant. So following on from that, you said what you expect to see, but what would be useful for you to see? It could be some of the stuff you've already mentioned. However, it could be other things that are currently not on there, or what you really would find useful when you're trying to find out about CDPS or engage with our services to learn more about user-centered design. So I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. No pressure. Okay, there's a good amount of overlap, but also some stuff that hasn't been mentioned previously. It's very good. Okay, 10 seconds left, people. By the way, throughout this, if anybody has any questions, please pop them in the Teams chat and we'll do our best to answer them towards the end. We do have a question section. Okay, thank you for that, people. Next, we're going down the page. So we're now zooming into the page and focusing block by block. James, did you mention you wanted to say anything about any of these particular pieces?
No, I don't think so. I think I was just going to call out any questions that had come through, and there's no questions in the chat so far. So
fantastic.
No questions from first section so far.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So just for a bit of context, the hero block, again, is the quite visual piece towards the top of the page. It's what they call above the fold in most instances. So it's right at the top of the screen when you first load up the page. And it usually has, either some kind of important information, calls to action, that kind of thing. So we've got an image of it on the left here. So when you land on our page, are you looking for, in this hero block, are you looking for a featured project that is completed or ongoing? So as you can see in the image, we've got a featured project. Would you want one that is ongoing and you link through to our learnings? Or would it be one that's completed and there's an outcome and a retro and all that kind of thing? So please go ahead and vote. I will give you all 30 seconds on this. Pretty neck and neck.
And there's a few people in the chat, Josh, just saying they wouldn't look for either.
Oh, fair enough.
And
that's absolutely fine. If it's both or neither, then just please let us know in the chat. So moving on from that, currently in this design we have the digital service standards. They are set to be here permanently. So the featured one we could obviously change to other things, but the standards would always be prominent. Would you want to see those made more prominent, more visual, or are they, prominent enough? Again, 30 seconds for this. Okay, 10 seconds left. Okay, neck and neck. Goodness me. A split decision here. So following on from that, we have two types of imagery on show here. Which is more appealing? Is it the photographic imagery, which in this case is a stock image? We would obviously prefer original ones, but stock makes do. Or do you prefer the custom illustrations on show there for the digital standards? I will give you all 30 seconds for this. For a little bit of context, we are actually undergoing a brand refresh, and this can help feed into the decisions on that. Okay. Thank you, folks. So this one is a free-form one. You'll have a minute for this one. If anything, what else should be featured within that hero block? So some of you in the chat mentioned that you wouldn't want to see any featured projects. What would you want to see in the hero block? Or if you were happy with the project and the standards, what else would be useful? What else would you want to see up there? Give you 1 minute. This is free form, so enter as many times as you wish. Okay, some really good answers so far. TLDR, very nice. Okay, and that's coming to an end. I'm actually going to give everyone a tiny bit more time because there are some longer answers coming through on this, and I feel that they're worth keeping. So I'm just going to give everybody another 30 seconds on this one. Okay, 10 seconds. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, thank you for that, people. Next up, we're moving down the page. So this is below the hero. Currently, we have latest courses and events. So within this section, what we're asking is, on the left is what we currently have as part of our latest courses and latest events. Please click as many of these options as you wish of what else would you need when looking at a course or event for more details. So this is without clicking through onto that specific course. What in this little snapshot on the homepage would you want to see or would be useful for you to see? If there's anything that's not on this list, please mention so in the chat. So go ahead and vote. I will give everybody 30 seconds for this one. I'm just going to extend the voting slightly more because we've only had 5 and I believe we've got about 11 who have previously been voting, so I'm just giving you a little bit more time on this. Okay, 15 seconds left. We will try and keep to time, but these ones, it's worth waiting a little longer on some of these. The non-yes or no questions. 5 seconds. Okay, so on this design currently, they are latest courses. So these are the ones that are nearest in the calendar, if you like. If we had featured ones, it would be ones that we internally at CDPS have selected, ones that we either want to promote more, ones we feel are more useful, ones that we've been requested more. So which would you want to see? I'll give you 30 seconds on this one, since it's a binary choice. Again, if you have any questions or any further thoughts on this, please pop them in the chat and we'll get to them when we get to the questions section later. 5 seconds left. Okay. Next, we move down again to what is currently called help and advice. So this is where you can find things like toolkits, blog posts, things like that. We currently have 2 examples here, what's in a translation and how do we become user-centered. There is a small description below the title. Do the descriptions help drive you to click on the content? Are they enough? Are they big enough? Are they interesting enough? So I'm just going to put a time of 30 seconds.
That's a real interesting one. I wonder if we could get some descriptions or comments from the people that have clicked no, just how we could improve that.
Yeah, perhaps if we pick that up at the questions section.
Yeah.
So if James, you just make a note of that, and then that can be your question to the audience. Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. So in this section, what would you expect to see? So remember, this is help and advice. What would you expect to see in this section? So for example, it could be resources, info, tools, blog posts, that kind of thing. This is a free typing area, so I'm going to give everybody a minute on this one. What would you expect to find in help and advice? Beginner level things. Okay, 15 seconds. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, folks. Next up, we move down once again to our work. So as you can see on the left, we've got an image there, or a pair of images there. Is it clear what we mean by our work? Twenty seconds left, but it's looking pretty cut and dry here too. I'm curious, we'll come to this in the questions later, but I wonder if that's due to the title or that it needs a little bit of a preface text below it explaining what our work is. So beneath that section, what would you actually expect to find under our work? Again, this is free form, as many answers as you want, as short or as long as you want. I'm going to put the timer for a minute. FYI, I will probably extend this by 30 seconds because this is quite an interesting deep dive. Okay, 30 seconds left. We have a few other ones here which are disappearing below my screen size, which is quite impressive, but we will come back to those. Don't worry, all these are saved into Menti, so we can review these afterwards. So just because it's not visible on the screen right now does not mean that your view has been discounted. 10 seconds. Okay. Then looking a little bit wider, so this is at our work and the help and advice blocks on the home page. Is there a clear enough difference between this section and the section above? So comparing our work and help and advice, do these look distinct enough as they are now? I'll give everybody 30 seconds on that. Okay, 15 seconds. Brilliant. Thank you, folks. So now we move down onto the next section, which is effectively the bottom of the page. You may have noticed in the versions that I've shown you on the screen, there's no menu bar and logo, and at the bottom there's no footer. We've omitted those because those are already kind of effectively set in stone. So these are the calls to action at the bottom of the homepage. So we currently have two. Let's say you've scrolled through all of the information you've just seen, you haven't clicked elsewhere yet. Would you like to learn more about CDPS after visiting our homepage? Or do you feel you have enough? Give you 30 seconds. And don't worry, we won't take this personally. Oh, that's so heartening. Thank you so much. Brilliant. That's unanimous. So either we are very popular or there's not enough information on the homepage. Hopefully the former. Okay, and then on to the next question. Let's say you said yes, which is everybody. What would you like to learn more about? So I'll give you 1 minute and 30 seconds for this. So again, free form, type what you wish. So specifically from your subjective point of view, what is it you would want to learn more about CDPS after just seeing the homepage? Okay, very good answers here. Brilliant. Okay, 30 seconds on the clock. Any more for any more? Remember, you can add more answers if you wish. We've got events, we've got a fair amount about overviews about us, so context of who we are and who we're ideally talking to and how we can help. Okay, so next question is looking at the about us link there. So the call to action saying learn more about Centre for Digital Public Services. When clicking that link, what would you expect to see? May sound like a silly question, but that's why we've left it open-ended. So I'll give you 30 seconds for this one, and they can be. I'll give you a minute for this one. It's free form. So again, answer how you wish. It may be repeats of what we've just seen, but that's still useful. Okay. Mm. Okay, 30 seconds left. A magnificent spread of answers there. Brilliant. It's very helpful. Really appreciate this. Okie dokes, and we are done with that one. Then thinking about these images, the two that are on the screen, so you've got a shot of a workshop there, and then you've got, albeit a cropped image, you've got a couple of staff members in there. That image would likely be bigger in the final one. Do the images accurately reflect CDPS as you understand it? There is a not short answer on this as well, and I will give you all 30 seconds for this. Well, I think we have a winner. Cool. I think that's everybody voted on the externals. So moving on to the next. So looking at the large yellow box, is it clear what we mean by let's stay in touch? I'll give you all 30 seconds for this. Ten seconds remaining. And again, if anybody has any questions on any of this, we will have a section coming up very shortly, which is a bit of a Q&A session. So following on from that question, is it clear what you are signing up for with this block as it is now? Interesting. Almost the polar opposite of the previous question. That's very interesting indeed. Okay. So now we're going to zoom back out and look at the whole homepage in context, because there's a couple of questions that otherwise would have been duplicated throughout the process here. So first of all, how would you prioritize these sections? So here we're looking at everything below the hero block. Please vote on each of those on which one you would order in priority from top to bottom of the page. latest course and events, help and advice, our work, and the calls to action to stay in touch and learn more. I will give you all a minute on this one. Just under 30 seconds left. Ten seconds. Feel like a bit of a game show host. And your prize is another question. Do the images throughout this page, as you've seen it so far, do they clearly reflect the content? Again, we've got a yes, no, or not sure. Apologies for the 000 there. Not sure why that's there, but I will give you all 30 seconds to vote on this. So looking at the images, do they clearly reflect the content? Ten seconds remaining. Oh, I've got my work cut out for me. Brilliant. Thank you very much. We're drawing towards the end now. Those of you who are getting a bit tired. Do the descriptions that you've seen and the length of the descriptions, how they're presented on the page, do they drive you to click on the content? So again, I'll give you 30 seconds on this. Not expecting you to, squint and read them exactly, but as you have seen them, the length of them, the kind of information that they have, do they drive you to click on that content? Got 10 seconds left. Okay. So this one, I mean, that's practically been answered by some of the previous responses, but do you get a clear idea of who we are and what we do? 30 seconds. I'm going to hazard a guess on the answer of this one. Color me surprised. Okay, we are pretty much at the end here. So I will then pass over to James now for questions and answers. Diolch yn fawr pawb. That was really, really useful. We'll collate all this information and we'll go on to the next steps and beta testing after this Q&A session. So James, over to you.
Thanks, Josh. And yeah, that was a great session. That's exactly how it should be, really. So I'm really glad that we've done this. Got some really strong leads there as well. So some of the stuff where it's not clear, we've missed off the about us on the this first prototype for the web page. So yeah, that's brilliant, and can't thank you guys enough for the feedback that you've been popping in. Does anybody have any specific questions or any other bits that they wanted to call out? So I did see on there that people, does anybody want to come in on the description piece? So that was one of the questions where it felt, I think the question was around, would you click this link, or does the description on this link encourage you to click it? And I think everybody answered no. Is there anybody would like to come in and just give us a bit more of a steer on how we could improve it? So, Sarah, is it Sarah or Sarah?
It's Sarah, thanks.
Sarah.
Yeah. I think for me, I think when people are looking, on your website, they're looking to find answers to problems or challenges that they may have. And I don't think that's coming through strongly enough, particularly on the help and advice section, because they wouldn't be visiting your site unless they wanted something specific. So just trying to sort of phrase those descriptions in such a way to say that this is going to help you do this or solve this headache or whatever you've got. That would be my suggestion.
So possibly rather than dropping straight down into an individual template or resource, a more higher level piece or a description of what we mean by help and advice. So sub-description sat alongside that, and then also then the two options that you could have then would be dropping into help and advice about setting up a project, or help and advice about doing user-centered design. So a more high level piece rather than dropping straight into here's a template, that allows you to close a project.
Yeah, because I suppose just got to think about how your users find you and find your site. Because experience with other Welsh government-based websites is they're notoriously difficult to find things. So it's about, making sure that those sort of descriptions and those keywords are there that actually make sure that you're finding the content you're looking for, because they may not come in that route. So yeah, just some ideas.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks. And also, sorry, just to say, we saw the join part on the call to action. Yeah, agreed. The actual button text of join rather than sign up or subscribe. So yeah, that was one that we caught a bit too late in the day to be able to get changed. But yeah, we thought that would get commented on. So thanks for that. Is there anybody else who wants to come in on any of the comments possibly that they've put in the chat, just to expand on it a bit more? Everybody's being very quiet. And I'll reiterate, we really appreciate the feedback. It's constructive. It's exactly what we wanted, and it's helping us steer something before we've actually finished it. So we haven't released this yet. This is the point, to be able to get the feedback now. So if nobody else wants to come in and nobody else wants to raise any other questions, then should I go over to Poppy? I think, Poppy, you were going to cover next steps, what we're doing next.
Yeah, thanks, James. And just to reiterate what James said, really, thank you everyone for participating today. In addition to gathering the feedback we have from yourselves this morning in relation to the homepage, we're also beginning beta testing rounds commencing next week. So our initial first round will be focusing on 2 specific pages of the site. So our work with us and our help and resources pages. So we will be collecting and collating that feedback through task calls next week, actioning and implementing some of that feedback and improvements, and then ultimately we'll be going back out for a second round of testing week commencing 27th of March. So we'll be actively recruiting again again for some test participants. I'm sure some of you have already spotted us actively recruiting for this initial round. So do keep an eye out for those who are sort of within the Welsh public sector and who meet our user profiles who we're prioritising for the build at the minute. We'd be grateful for your time in our testing. And then ultimately, we're hoping to launch the site on the 18th of April. So again, keep an eye out in various channels and on our socials for recruitment for test participants in our beta testing. And again, thanks very much for all your feedback today. And don't hesitate to get in touch with us separately as well if you wanted to provide any further feedback or query us about any of our testing. I'll I think hand back over to you, James, to close.
Yeah, Brill, thanks, Poppy. So yeah, once again, thanks everybody for your feedback. It's literally showing why it's so important to do these sort of sessions and to actually ask the users what they think of the website, so that you don't launch things that people don't understand or people don't want to use, etc. So it's been really good. We've got some really good ideas and comments from everybody that we can now go away and get implemented onto the site. And yeah, as Poppy says, if anybody's interested in doing any further beta testing, then please let us know. I see that the link for the Notion page has gone out onto the chat, so please also have a read there. And we blog very regularly on there, and we're up to the beta stage on that Notion page. If you want to see, we'll also be posting the show and tell up onto that site as well. Eventually, all of this will move across to our new site, but yeah, for now, this is where we're popping it. And yeah, that's it. If there's no more questions and people don't want to raise any other bits, then yeah, thanks everyone for your time, and speak to you all soon. Thank you. Bye.
Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.